Welcome back to the Cooking Doc, where we cook up ways to keep you out of my office and keep you living your healthiest and best life. Today we're talking about something that might really surprise you. Certain foods can actually mess with your medications. Yes, that's right. If you have kidney disease or thyroid problems or heart disease or infections or high cholesterol or really any medical condition, you want to give your medications the best chance to work. And believe it or not, but some of your favorite snacks and meals might be sneaking around, getting in the way of the way your medications are trying to work to keep you healthy. Stay tuned all the way to the end to make sure that none of these 4 interactions apply to you. And as always, remember, everything we talk about here is just for informational purposes only. This is not, never, ever medical advice. Don't stop or adjust or change any medication because some random internet doctor like me told you to do it, because I am not telling you to do that. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and comment. What you say and how you interact with me is what keeps me going every single week. First, let's talk about thyroid medications. And boy, this is a big one. For the 23 million or more Americans who take levothyroxine or Synthroid, which is the synthetic form of thyroid hormone, dairy may be more than just a delicious part of your regular diet. It could actually interfere with your treatment. The calcium in dairy products can bind to levothyroxine, reducing its absorption. A study in the Thyroid Journal showed that taking levothyroxine with cow's milk actually reduced its absorption by about 9 to 10%. It might not sound like much, but if you're depending on this medicine to keep your thyroid hormones in balance, even a small drop in absorption can make a big difference in how you feel. So if you're on thyroid medications, ask your doctor or your pharmacist if you should wait at least 30 minutes to an hour before indulging in your morning latte or glass of milk. This is almond milk, by the way, so it doesn't matter. Next, let's talk about antibiotics. Ever have bronchitis or sinusitis or urinary tract infection? Well, if you want those antibiotics to work for those infections, pay attention to this, especially if you love your milk and yogurt. Did you notice that little white sticker on the side that tells you to avoid dairy when taking those antibiotics? Did you ignore it? I hope not, and here's why. The science is actually pretty interesting. Just like the thyroid medications, the calcium in the dairy products like milk and cheese and yogurt can bind to certain antibiotics like tetracyclines or ciprofloxacin, forming a complex that your body just can't absorb well. It's like trying to get past a bouncer at a club. You might get in, but it's a lot harder, and you might leave part of yourself at the door. I'm just kidding, not that part, but you know what I mean. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Pharmacology found that calcium can reduce the absorption of these antibiotics by up to 50%, making them significantly less effective. So if you're on antibiotics, fighting that infection, you want to give the medications the best chance to work, and it's probably best to skip that cheesy pizza until after you've finished your medications. Next, let's talk about an underrated fruit and juice. Grapefruit. Though it seems like grapefruit is always playing second fiddle to other fruits, except like in the mid-70s and 80s when, did you know, grapefruit was at its peak and everyone and their mother was trying the grapefruit diet? You probably don't remember that, but it is true. Yeah, Mom, I'm talking to you. I remember those days with the half grapefruit with some sugar substitute sprinkled on top. Ah, the grapefruit craze. I never got into it, but a lot of people did. People aren't into grapefruit as much anymore, and I wonder if it's because it can have some serious interactions with certain medications. Grapefruit contains compounds called furanocoumarins, which inhibit an enzyme in your intestines called CYP3A4. This enzyme is responsible for breaking down many medications, including some statins for cholesterol, certain blood pressure medications, and even some anti-anxiety and anti-depression pills. So when you eat grapefruit or drink its juice, the furanocoumarins essentially block this enzyme from working, leading to higher levels of the medication in your blood. Based on the research that I've seen, this can be both good and bad, like most things in medications, right? On the bad side, it can actually lead to an increased absorption of the medication and levels that go too high. According to a study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, the effect of grapefruit juice can last for more than 24 hours. So even eating it the day before can impact your medications. On the good side, according to the research, there's the potential that you could get the same effect of a medication by taking a lower dose and eating a daily grapefruit with it. If you're on one of these medications, talk to your doctor about whether or not you need to avoid grapefruit completely. And some of us may just want to give that grapefruit diet a second chance. Last but not least, let's talk about leafy green vegetables and warfarin, also known as Coumadin, a common blood thinner. Leafy greens like spinach, kale, and broccoli, some of my favorite foods and some of the healthiest foods around, are packed with vitamin K, which is actually a really good thing unless you're on warfarin. Here's the amazing science. Warfarin works by inhibiting the vitamin D dependent clotting pathway in your blood. So that makes your blood thin and protects you from things like stroke and blood clots if you're at risk for them. So if you're on one of these medications and you suddenly start eating a lot of vitamin K rich foods, it can make your warfarin less effective. But that's just the overview. It doesn't mean that all people on these blood thinners need to avoid these healthy foods with vitamin K, and thank God, because these are staples of the Cooking Doc diet. A study in the British Journal of Clinical Pharmacology showed that the key is consistent vitamin K intake. Say you never eat kale or broccoli, and then all of a sudden you go on a kale spree for a week. Kale salads, kale chips, kale pesto. The next thing you know, your warfarin will be ineffective and will put you at higher risk of stroke or blood clots. On the other hand, if you're consistent with your vitamin K and leafy greens every day, your dose can be adjusted to that leafy green intake, and you can keep cooking Cooking Doc recipes and keep yourself otherwise healthy. So if you're going to start eating more greens and you're on this medicine, let your doctor know so they can adjust and watch things more closely. So there you have it, folks. 4 foods that could be playing a sneaky game with your medications. Remember, the key is consistency and communication with your healthcare provider. Keep eating healthy, stay informed, and as always, if you have questions, drop them in the comments below, or even better, ask your regular doctor, not me. Thanks so much for watching today. I'm Dr. Blake Schuster. I'm a board-certified kidney doctor and also the Cooking Doc. Make sure you check out my website, cookingdoc.com. Check out my book, The Cooking Doc's Kidney Healthy Cooking, a modern 10-step guide to preventing and managing kidney disease, and I will see you next time.